things rolling. I'm Christy Tacky, a board member with Interchange, and thank you for all attending our Interchange and Thrive Republican primary general election primary election forum for sheriff candidates and county auditor. We always start our Interchange meetings off with the pledge, so I invite you all to stand up and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Again, thank you all for attending today. We will start the forum off with the sheriff candidates, and that will go through the first half of the forum, and then we will conclude the second half of the forum with the auditor. We'd like you all to note that President Christie has a work obligation, so he will be leaving at the close of the sheriff portion. Didn't want there to be any confusion on why he would be leaving following his portion. And then we'll finish up by 1 o'clock with the auditor candidates as well. The format of the forum will go 2 minutes for an opening statement, and then after that we'll have questions that will rotate back and forth between the candidates for 90 seconds of those questions, and then they'll also have 90 seconds at the end to do a follow-up conclusion statement. And we will, like I said, rotate. We'll start with Preston Chrissy with the first question, well actually opening statements, and then Michael Rogero will follow up. So with that, also Sheila Kukta, I'll let her stand up. She is our official timer. She will give you a heads up when you're getting close to your allotted time, and that way you have an opportunity to wrap up your thoughts, your statements, and then she'll let you know when you're out of time and need to complete. With that, your opening statement.
I think it's on.
Okay. Well, I know Sheila, so she shut me down before whenever it comes battle of the badges. So, first off, my name is Preston Chrissy, and I'm seeking to be your next sheriff here in Yankton County. Just a little bit about myself. I grew up in Beersheba, South Dakota. I got a college degree at Southeast Tech University with law enforcement science. From there on, I went to Game Fish and Parks as a seasonal intern, and moved on to Aurora County, became a deputy sheriff there. That's where I met my wife. I met her at a wedding dance. People say you don't meet people at weddings, but it still happens. So we decided to move closer down to the Bon Homme, Yankton County area, and I worked for the sheriff's office in Bon Homme for a few years, where I ran for the school board also. I was the vice president of the school board in Bon Homme, so I dealt with budgets and stuff like that there. Moved over to Yankton to move closer to my mother-in-law and family, to say the least. But so since I've been over here, I've worked for patrol. I've done night shift and day shifts. I've also been part of the school resource officer program. I worked with the detectives for a few summers, and then also now I'm currently a sergeant with the Yankton Police Department. So since I'm here, my wife and I, we have 4 wonderful children, Berkeley, Lincoln, Briggs, and Marley. And so we're just happy to be here in Yankton County. Want to continue to serve you guys and the public. Priorities, safety is a priority for me. And so just being in Yankton County and raising a family here, I know what it's going to take. So I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Michael Rogero. I'm currently your Chief Deputy Sheriff in Yankton County. I have been since 2012. I'll go back here a little bit. I was born and raised in Tyndall, South Dakota, not too far from here, on a family farm north of town. 6 brothers, 2 sisters. I have a twin brother. He lives in Georgia. My wife Mary is here today. Thank you for coming. We have 6 children, 4 grandchildren. Very proud of that. My career started In 1989, I joined the U.S. Navy. I was in Annapolis, Maryland. I worked at the Naval Station there as military police. After my time was up in the Navy, I went to the United States Naval Academy, where I worked for the Department of Defense, police there in Annapolis, Maryland. After about 5 years, I moved back to South Dakota to be closer to family. I worked at Mike Thurston State Prison for a couple of years. And in 1999, I got hired on in the Sheriff's Office as a deputy. Since then, I've been an investigator for the Sheriff's Office as Sergeant, been promoted to Lieutenant, and I've been your Chief Deputy since 2012. I look forward to continuing to serve the citizens of Yankton County. Experience counts. I've got a lot of it. I've been working with the current sheriff since 2010 with the budget. It's very important, $3.5 million budget for the Sheriff's Office and the Yankton County Jail. Thank you for your support.
Okay, our first question. What qualifications or abilities do you have that would benefit the citizens of Yankton County?
Well, I believe my experience speaks for itself. I've been in law enforcement for 30 years, 20 years with the Yankton County Sheriff's Office. I've been involved in every felony investigation you can think of in Yankton County, including in the past couple of years, 3 murders. At that time, we didn't have any suspects. We found all the suspects. They were all convicted, and they're in prison today. And we worked with a lot of federal agencies, the Highway Patrol, the Yankton PD, the SWAT teams from Sioux Falls, SWAT team from Mitchell, all the fire and ambulance here. When something happens, I have a lot of experience, Lieutenant, Chief Deputy, and look forward to continuing my service.
What qualifications or abilities do you have that would benefit the citizens of Yankton County?
Well, first off, I'll just start off with, I've worked for prior sheriff's offices, so I've got experience a little bit of the civil process side of stuff, with executions and sheriff's warrants, distress warrants, things like that. Also coming over to Yankton PD, it's a much larger agency. So I've contributed to my time to working with the DARE program, school resource officer program, working with detectives while I was there. So even today, when I have to leave, I have to do grand jury because I'm still grinding it out. I've been working the streets since 2010. So just going to still shows that I'm still currently working the streets. And I think I can apply the Bonhomme vice president with this large budget they had over there. Very unique school districts. It's raised many good people from Bonhomme. Part of audits with the school board. It's kind of the same concept. It's still like a business, but I still have a lot of experience. I'm a trainer also with the police department. I still teach radar, LiDAR. I'm an ALS instructor, taser instructor. So my aspect of training is big, and I think I can bring a lot to that to the sheriff's office. So, thank you.
It's his turn after sir. Okay, the second question. How would you help all of the emergency personnel in Yankton County work together?
It's a good question because when I was over in Bonham County, as the deputy sheriff, we worked together with the emergency management over there, and I was part of the EOC. And so we had major critical incidents. We had drownings in the Missouri River, straight line winds in Springfield. There's just a lot of stuff that the firefighters are part of. There's a lot of things that law enforcement's part of. And I think I can bring a lot of unity over here, work well with the emergency management, work with the sheriff's office or the police department, either side that I'm on. I just believe that I'm a unifier, not a divider. we all know our roles, we're specialized in certain things. So, even in Bonham County, I also worked with the train derailments, that had a lot of ethanol up by Scotland. So, the fire department came up and took care of that. We assisted, but that was, they're the incident commander for that. I've also done all my ICS classes where I've taken my 100, 200, 300, 400, 700, 800 classes. So I'm already federally recognized with those certifications. So those aren't expected to be taken, but I went on my way to do the 300 and 400 because you have to have those, if you're a leader in the agency. So that's just a little bit about that.
Sorry, this is it's okay. I need some correct.
Okay, the question is, how would you help all of the emergency personnel in Yankton County work together?
Well, I've been working with them for the last 20 years, and I think we all work together just fine. We have the Yankton Fire, Search and Rescue, ambulance service, our office, and all outside agencies. When a critical incident happens, all we have to do is make a few phone calls and they're here. All federal agencies, Highway Patrol, Yankton PD, even sometimes agencies across the river. Don't cost the taxpayer a dime. The Highway Patrol has 5 K9 units that's available to us on this side of the state. The Yankton PD has 1. So that don't cost the taxpayer a dime. We all come together and work together as a team when it's needed, and we're very successful at it.
We'll get this figured out. What are the biggest concerns facing law enforcement in Yankton County?
Well, as a sheriff and an administrator, you're responsible for all your staff, the budget, training. We have great training in our office. All the deputies have to get certified just like any other law enforcement agency in the state. We have continuing education throughout the year, online training, in-service training. We have sergeants that are instructors. We have our training instructors here right now. Scott Silvernell is our instructor for the Sheriff's Office and the jail. It's just, the training is outstanding. The administrative staff is outstanding. The sheriff's done a wonderful job. Since 2010. If it's not broke, don't fix it. You don't have to fix something if it ain't broke. That's what I was trying to say. We've accomplished a lot over the years, and I will continue to do the same.
The question is, what are the biggest concerns facing law enforcement in Yankton County?
Some of the things I would like to address is that I work for the Yankton Police Department, obviously work for the Sheriff's Office. I'm a true believer in training, and I think that both of our agencies can come together and unify. As in-service training is important, I think that we could utilize both trainers from both entities. We could do a lot more training. Special response team currently, we have an SRT truck. It's identified with the YPD, EMS, and also the Sheriff's Office. There's nobody that actually represents the special response team from the Sheriff's Office. And that's similar to what we call SWAT. That's the SWAT team. So I think allowing other officers from other agencies working together, just like the SWAT team, I think would be beneficial for both parties. Like I said, I'm a sergeant right now and I still train. I think For radar, if you're gonna pick up people for speeding, you gotta be certified every 2 years. From my knowledge, I could be wrong, but I certified a lot of the guys from the sheriff's office, I think back in 2017. But if they went to the academy, they just got recertified. So those are some priorities of mine. I want to focus on training, and working together with both agencies. Thank you.
Fourth question, how would you handle staffing shortages in law enforcement?
Well, first of all, there's already a shortage across the country. It's very hard to find hardworking men and women to do the job that we do. But I can definitely tell you, if I'm your leader, we're going to be able to maintain staff. I've got a lot of people across the state already that's certified. They want to move to Yankton and work for me if I'm elected. And so, working with the county commissioners too to try to get some raises maybe for the employees, get some more benefits. I know for the city, just simple things like, they got free fitness vouchers now to go every month. They go work out. So there's more and more incentives out there for us to maybe implement. But I think working with the other entities, see how other places are doing things. But to maintain some staff, like I said, the type of person I am, people know my personality. I've got a lot of people that want to come work in Yankton County. So.
Well, the sheriff's office in the jail currently has no staff issues. And I certainly am not going to replace the people we have from people outside of other agencies to come in here if I'm elected sheriff. Some of our people, we have over, I counted it up, over 200 years of experience in our sheriff's office. That's a lot of experience. And our guys will get promoted if I'm elected. There'll be a few positions there, but I'm keeping my staff. They're great staff in the sheriff's office and the jail and the administrative staff. Thank you.
What are 2 to 3 strengths the sheriff's department can be proud of? And are there areas that can be improved?
Well, I'm proud of our deputies. We have 12 certified deputies in our office, not 20, not 25, not 50, 12, including the sheriff. We patrol 533 square miles in the county. That's a lot of miles to patrol with 12 certified guys that are, we cover 24/7, 7 days a week, 365. And run the sheriff's office in the jail.
2 to 3 strengths the sheriff's department can be proud of, and are there areas that can be improved?
First off, we'll start with Mark Plyer. I think he's done an excellent job working in the jail. He's been a moneymaker for the county. I think he's generated over $1 million every year, and I will say that there's some kudos to him for doing that. Some other things that I think that we can improve better is, like I said, the relationship with the Yankton Police Department working together. I think it's very important that we have that trust and bond between each other. We're all brothers in blue. A lot of the deputies I know personally. When I was a deputy sheriff in Bonham County, we always worked well together. I want to keep the staff like he's indicated. They just recently got full staff with some other people that are being hired on. So, but my focus is to maintain the people. There are a lot of good employees that are over there. There's no doubt about it, and I want to maintain that. But working with the police department, we're all in the same game together. We want to work well together, and that's ultimately the goal. Because the YPD's got some good resources that we can utilize, and the sheriff's office has some good resources that we can utilize. And so I'm focused on unifying and using those resources that we can come together as one.
In your opinion, is there a need for increasing the sheriff's office visibility in the county? If so, how would you plan to do that?
Absolutely. I think that there needs to be more visual deputies out and about. There are a lot of times that with the scheduling, there's 0 people out in the county working for the sheriff's office. There are people that are on call, but when there's a call that comes out, they have to get dressed and come out to the call. So I'm focused on giving better coverage to the people of Yankton County, at least having a minimum of 2 people on at all times. If I'm elected your sheriff, I've got 12 years of law enforcement experience. I'm still going to wear a uniform. I'm going to drive a marked cop car because with only 12 certified people, it's going to take all of us to still work. So that's what I'm focused on there, and better the schedule too.
Is there a need for increasing the sheriff's office visibility in the county? And if so, how would you plan to do that?
Well, the deputies work 12-hour shifts. There's always a deputy. We got 2 guys working at night. There's supervisors on call. There's 24/7 coverage. The only time that might happen if somebody's sick or when we have guys in school. If you got a call on one side of the county, both them deputies are going. So you can't have both them deputies on this side of the county at the same time. Like I said, 533 square miles. We respond to 3,000 some calls a year. That's a lot of calls for service. We're everywhere. There's nobody complaining about how long it takes us to get to a call. We respond, we take care of it. The smaller communities are happy with our service, especially Gayville when it comes to school. They're happy with our response. They're not interested in a school resource officer. I've talked to the administration. When they have a problem, we respond. Like he mentioned, ALICE training, we've been through the ALICE training. Our deputies have 24/7 access to that school. And just appreciate your vote.
Are there groups or organizations the sheriff's
Well-
department could work with in the future that would make Yankton County better?
Well, I think we work with a lot of groups in Yankton County, and I plan on getting involved with the domestic violence shelter. I used to attend those meetings years ago, and it just kind of, we weren't invited anymore. I don't know what happened. But I'm not the policymaker right now, and if I was, then I would change a couple of those things.
Are there groups or organizations the sheriff's department could work with in the future to make Yankton County better?
Yes. I think with any agency working together as a whole is going to benefit everybody. Recently, for my campaign, I met with the River City Domestic Violence Center. We wanted to focus on some of the things, if I get elected as sheriff, how we can help out individuals that may be out in the county that don't have the proper resources that they deserve. And so having that personal conversation and working out some possible ideas to better both entities, I think is going to help. Because we do have a lot of victims of crime, sexual assault or any type of domestic violence. I also want to work with Gayville School District along with the Yankton School Districts. I work as a school resource officer, so I know what it's like, and the importance of having an SRO. The relationships that you build are huge. Not only that, but like working with the parents, staff, and the students, you really bridge that gap between all the entities. I also want to work with, I've been to all the city councils for the small communities around Yankton, just talking about the coverage that they deserve, how we can better serve them, and just looking at better coverage as a whole. But they're just as important as Yankton, and I know Yankton's got, for fully staffed at the PV, 28 fully sworn officers. to cover the city of Yankton, but also we can contribute better to the smaller communities.
What would be your key priorities if elected to sheriff?
Some of the key priorities, obviously the jail is a big money maker for the county, so you want to keep the revenue coming because that's extra money for the general funds. Other priorities, like I said, working together with the Yankton Police Departments, just to kind of help with training and get both entities more involved. Special response team, like I was talking about earlier, the SWAT team, get both entities involved in that. I do want to bring a canine program to the county. I feel like there's a lot of drugs are going to be everywhere all the time. But how do you capture those people? And so getting a canine officer, which can be fully funded through the Attorney General Drug Forfeiture Funds. Example, Aberdeen Police Departments last year was awarded $46,000 for a canine. It's tax-free, you pay it up front, and then you get reimbursed from the AG's office. So a canine officer is a big part of what I'm about. And also I want to work closely with the surrounding counties, doing a multi-agency drug task force, just to kind of help curb some of the drugs. Also too, with the surrounding counties, I've been publicly endorsed by the Turner County Sheriff, Stephen Luke, Maurice Waldner, the Chief Deputy, and Hutchinson County's also endorsed me. And I've also been endorsed by the local Fraternal Order of Police, which is local officers from the Yankton County.
Well, I believe you got to be a good administrator, good manager. We got a $3.5 million budget. You mentioned things about K9. We have 5 available to Highway Patrol and 1 with the city. Costs the taxpayer $0. I don't care what kind of grant you get, eventually it costs you money. I contacted the Attorney General's office a few weeks ago concerning the K9. There are no monies available in the drug fund from the state of South Dakota. The only thing they use that money for now, they haven't given out an award for over a year. They use that money to pay for the testing that the state sends to them for drugs. That's it. That'd be a waste of money for our taxpayers. Like I said, we have 12 certified officers. They can't be everywhere. We're a very busy office. If we need help, we contact outside agencies, and we have partners with the federal agencies, the Highway Patrol. It works out great. Doesn't cost taxpayer a dime.
We're nearing the end of this portion, so we'll give you 90 seconds for a closing statement.
I just want to say that I've been in law enforcement all my life, 30 years. I've worked very hard at the sheriff's office over the years, worked very hard for the citizens. I'm all about the victim, try to do everything for the victim. Our solve rate is, I bet you, over 90% over the years. We have a great staff. We've done a great job. The staff down to our administrative secretaries. I mean, they have a lot of responsibility. Our deputies, the jail staff, our supported staff. We got part-time guys doing transports. We're on the road all the time. Mental illness, transport prisoners. We go out of state to get prisoners. We're a very busy office. Thank you. Appreciate your vote.
Well, thank you everybody for allowing me to come in today and just kind of express my gratitude to you guys for even being having the opportunity to be elected as sheriff. Like I was talking earlier, the sheriff in Bon Hall, Mark Baggs, I work side by side with him. We're the same age. Turner County Sheriff Stephen Luke, we work well together. He's the same age as I am. Maurice Waldner, he's a little older than I am, but we definitely want to work well together. Some of the things I want to implement, there's got to be a change at some points, new blood, just to help revive some things. Currently, the deputies don't have any laptops in their cop cars. They don't have any body cameras, and I think transparency is going to be big for our agency. Right now, if we want to see a report from the sheriff's office, we have to request a hard copy, get an email, or you get a USB flash drive. So we use the same CAD system, and that's going to allow us to work better together, build on cases like drugs, child abuse cases, domestic violence cases, just helping everybody as a whole. Like I talked about the canine officer, you know, if I didn't think I could do a better job, I wouldn't be running. And so I just know what it's going to take, and I want to help provide everybody in Yankton County a safer and secure community. So.
Thank you to both of you for taking time today and joining us in our election forum. So it's now the halfway point. We're going to shift over to the auditor candidates, Patty Hoyam and Laura Katalik. Same format. We will start out with 2 minutes for an opening statement, and then it'll alternate just like these two did. You'll finish a question, and the next person will be the one starting the question. So we'll start with Patty Hoyam with our opening statement, and again, Sheila is right there to let you know your time.
Good afternoon. Thank you all for coming. My name is Patty Hoyam, and I am the county auditor for Yankton County, and I am running for re-election. I have been blessed to have worked in the auditor's office for 36 years and 8 years as auditor. I have 5 brothers and 2 sisters. My husband and my brother passed away in 2019. Thank you for coming.
Hi, I'm Laura Katalik, and I have lived in Yankton all my life. I went to school here. I went to USD. I had a master's in education and a bachelor's of science from USD, so that's a little bit about that. I'm married to Tim. I have 3 children, Andrew, Elsie, and Oliver, and 1 granddaughter, which I'm super proud of all of them. I would love to serve as the auditor of Yankton County. I feel like the auditor is maybe a close second to the sheriff position for the importance in a county because of the oversight that they have dealing with the budgeting and with the elections, and especially in today's world with the controversy over elections. It's just such an important part of the position and what you have control over and the policies that you can implement. And so I just think that that is a really important thing. And I feel like the qualities that I have are really conducive to the auditor position. I think that having a strong background in math and numbers and working well with people, and I enjoy research. I enjoy following up on, making sure that I know what the rules are and that we are in compliance with them is also super important. And so I just feel like I have a lot of skills that would be very beneficial to the position. I was the children's ministry director and daycare director, which have a lot of skills that also would be beneficial in this position as far as working with staff, following law, and those things. So happy to be here, and I'm thankful for each of you taking time out of your schedules to attend.
Okay, thank you. We'll start with you for the first question. Please describe in your words what the job duties of county auditor are and what specific professional experience you have that relates to the position.
All right. When I decided that I was interested in running for the auditor position, that is probably the question that I got the most often was, what does an auditor do? And so basically, the auditor position oversees the financial aspects of the county, and they're in charge of the budgeting, working with assigning values to your taxes. They may not want to admit that role, I suppose, but, and then they also are, like I said before, really instrumental in the voting process and elections and making sure that that works well. The auditor also has to work with many of the different departments in the county. And so, you know, they oversee the payroll, they oversee the accounts receivable, accounts payable, and all of those things. And so as the daycare director at Calvary, I had between 30 and 45 employees that I was in charge of. And so just dealing with staffing issues, dealing with the budget, really gives you a lot of experience in working with people. So those are skills that will be really helpful.
Well, elections are a very important part of our democracy, and that's every 2 years. But we do so much more in the auditor's office. We pay the claims, the payroll, the budgeting. What the commissioners do approve the budget. All the departments just present their budget forms to them. We do the day-to-day election, updating voter registration. We fix the agenda for the commission meetings, and my staff, my deputy, she videotapes all the meetings, whether they're ditch meetings, planning meetings, and commission meetings. And then we do accounts receivable. We send out statements to indigent people that the county has paid for. And there's so many things that you can't say because it just comes in a question about ditches, about road districts, and we compile all the levies for the taxpayers, and that's it. Should have learned.
Okay, if you are re-elected or elected, how would the auditor's office operate differently than it does now? And if so, how?
Well, hopefully I win. It's not, I'm very proud of what I've done in the office. I have a great staff, it's running smoothly, so I don't believe I'll be changing anything.
Right, and this is kind of a hard question when you are not currently in the position. I guess the first thing that I would do is just try to assess the climate and get to know everyone, and then talk to everyone and find out what's working, what they feel like needs improvement, and go from there and try to make changes that may be necessary. If things are going very well, that's wonderful. But I guess the first thing would be just to get to know everyone, and as you learn, you see things probably that could be improved or changed as you get to know the system better.
How could you help department personnel be the best at what they do?
Oh, I'm good at that. So, everybody has skills that they are really good at, and then everybody has things that are harder for them. And so that's where just getting to know each person and the things that they like to do well and the things that are easy for them to do, and just make sure that people are given the tasks that really are the best fit for them. If you have someone who maybe is lacking in a skill, that's where you would go to training, trying to make sure that you can come alongside them and just really help them. There may be classes they could take, there may be just, advice you can give them. Sometimes they just don't know. And so then if you can, work with them and help them and kind of tailor what they actually do to what they're really good at.
you help department personnel be the best at what they do?
I have a great staff, and all of them been in there for so long that they already know what to do as their job duties. If they would like to do something else or add to their job, I am there to support them in anything they do.
What is your approach to handling complex or controversial issues?
Oh, that is a good question. My office, basically, doesn't really have that many controversy questions. That's more of like, Dan, the commissioners, that's their cup. I just, love my job, and I'm very excited to do it, and I hope to do it again.
All right, this is another area where I have a lot of good experience. The first thing is there are always 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 sides to any conflict or any situation that you might get into. So the first thing is really important to listen and talk to people, communicate well, find out what each one has concern about. Usually it involves more than one person if there's a conflict. If it's someone who's coming in and dealing with things, you just want to listen and really find out what the true issue is, and then kind of put all those answers together, and you usually come up with maybe really what's going on. Another thing is that as someone who would be in charge of staff, I also have good experience with, so if I had a parent who came in with a daycare child and was upset about something, you talk to them, you figure out what you can do to help them, and so this would really translate to any type of job, but to making sure that they feel heard, and then you check into it, you figure out what you can do to help them, and then you get back to them about it. But it's also taking care of your staff. So, you don't want someone to come in and really go after your staff, because as the supervisor, I'm the one who's responsible for whatever would be happening. And I've apologized for a lot of things that I didn't directly do, but as a supervisor, I'm responsible for.
What are the biggest concerns facing the auditor's office in Yankton County?
That's a really good question. Concerns, I would say maybe just being transparent and making sure that the election integrity is what we want it to be. I think they cover a huge amount of daily things that they do, and so I would imagine that each is taken care of on a case-by-case basis. I have never heard of any severe issues with anything, so that's a good thing. But if I did, I would get on it.
Biggest concerns facing the auditor's office in Yankton County?
I guess I don't really have much concern. I've been in the office for many years, and the day-to-day work is done. The elections, I think Yanktonians would like to know that their elections are run secure and fair elections. And basically, our elections are really, on the day of election, is by your friends and neighbors. The poll workers are very good, and they take pride in their job. And everything else is running smoothly, I guess, in my eyes anyway. But thank you.
What qualifications or abilities do you have that would benefit the citizens of Yankton County?
I think the best qualification there is to have experience. Being in the office, you know the day-to-day work and how everything works and what has to be done.
All right, like I said before, I have an affinity for math and numbers, and I do well with budgets, and so that part of it I would be good with. I also can assure you that as your auditor, I would be very honest and open and transparent with everything that goes on. It's a public office and publicly available information. And I work well with people, I work well with staff, and I work well with other entities or groups that you'd have to work with, and with people who would come into the office. So I think those are probably the biggest things.
What would be your key priorities if elected as auditor?
Getting to know everyone would be the first priority. The second priority would be learning and being, the learning curve would be steep. I've already been learning a lot more than I had thought I would be at this point in time. And then just making sure that everything that's happening is really accurate and open and really following what the law says, what the rules say, what the regulations say. I've always been a believer that you follow the rules, you follow the law, and if you don't like it, then you need to get it changed. And so right now I've already noticed a couple of things that I think probably need some changing with the codified law, because some of them are not very clear. And so if you've ever dug into codified law, that's a rabbit hole you might want to try to go down sometime. But it's sometimes vague, and the wording isn't exact, and so then it's open to interpretation. And so to me, what might be a clear, yeah, this is what they mean, then someone else could say, well, what about this? So then it's not quite as clear.
Key priorities.
Key priorities? I'm getting confused
Oh.
now.
I'm rubbing off on you then. I think the auditor's office has many priorities. The main priority is compiling levies so the county can run their government. But the day-to-day work, paying the claims for all the county, payroll, election, it's all very important. And you have a degree of each one that you have to do first, and I think that's what we do and we have been doing. And we are transparent in the auditor's office, and I think all of the departments. If the public wants to come in and wants to look up something, look for minute books, they have the legal right to do that. One thing they can't do, look at any personnel, and the ambulance department, they go by the HIPAA laws, but basically we are all transparent.
What makes you the best candidate?
I think the years of experience in the auditor's office. I love my job. I love working for the public. We treat every person that comes in the office with integrity, and it doesn't matter what party you are or who you are, we treat you the same. And I like working with the other departments. We all work together, and we all, at some point through the year, work together on some things. The treasurer's office, we work with them daily, day to day. We have to match with their figures, and I'm very proud of what I've done. Thank you.
All right, I just feel like my experiences, my background, my education, and my ability to work with people are all reasons that I would be a really good fit to be your auditor. I just appreciate the opportunity to run and to be a part of being a candidate. I've never done that before, and so it's a little eye-opening and to learn the process. But I can promise you that as your auditor, I would be completely transparent, and you would just know that you can trust the person who is in that job. I said, I don't know what else to say, I guess. I just feel like I would do a great job for you, and I know that in Yankton County, there are some things that could be done better as far as transparency with elections. There are some things that could be changed to better meet codified law in my research of that. And so, if you ever have questions about that, let me know. I would be happy to talk to you about that. I am committed to serving the 4 years of the term, and I think that's important too, to have someone who runs and is committed to being there. So I think that that is important, and I would just love to serve you.
I just want to thank you for all of you to come. As I said before, I'm very proud of what I've done in the office, and I will continue to the job, continue doing the job. Thank you for coming.
And on behalf of Yankton Thrive and Interchange, we'd like to thank all of the candidates for taking time out of your schedules today to join us and give us this time.